Tonight on Coyote Sports, find out how a recent sports clinic taught participants the ins and outs of football. I'm Brandon Noel.
And I'm Sean Bauer. In this week's Bauer Beat, I give you a take on one item you must check off your sports bucket list. But first, the headlines. Taylor?
A federal judge has granted approval to the settlement of long-running concussion litigation between the NFL and retired players. This means that retired players suffering from complications, including concussions and Alzheimer's, will be compensated. The monetary awards are determined by the number of seasons played and the age at the time of diagnosis. Former Heisman winner Tim Tebow signed a one-year deal Monday with the Philadelphia Eagles. Tebow last played an NFL game back in 2012 as a member of the New York Jets. He's been working for the ESPN as a college football analyst since leaving the NFL. And those are your headlines.
Summit League opponents may not have enjoyed this news, but senior Nicole Seekamp has been granted another year of eligibility to play for the Coyotes. Now, Coyote News' Levi Goots is live in the muck with head coach Amy Williams to find out what this means for next season. Levi?
Thanks, Brandon. Nicole Seekamp is a huge part of the women's basketball team with multiple Summit League honors, and we're here to talk about it with Coach Amy Williams about her return. Thank you so much for being with us. So, why did the NCAA decide to allow Seekamp to have another year?
Well, I think that they took another look at her circumstances and recognized that the participation that she had after high school graduation in Australia did not warrant an entire season penalty, and so they took a look and knew that I think the NCAA is trying to take a more student-athlete friendly kind of approach and make sure that the punishment is fitting the crime, and in this case they looked back and thought that an entire season for her to give up was too harsh, and based on all of the circumstances that went into that, and so we're really happy they took another look.
Very good. And when it comes to you, the coaching staff, and the team, how do you guys all feel about it?
Well, we've just had permanent smiles for the last couple days since we heard the news. It's almost like Christmas in April for the women's basketball program. I think, her teammates were ecstatic, almost tackled her on the court when they heard the news, and just all of us, extremely thrilled about having her leadership and presence involved.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Seekamp will graduate in May with her undergraduate and will continue on with her graduate degree this fall. Live from the muck, I'm Levi Goots.
Thanks, Levi. USD hosted a football clinic that was billed as Ladies' Night at the Dakota Dome on Friday. Coyote News' Braley Dotson has a story.
The Women's Football Clinic introduces Coyote football players to their female fans. The women are walked through a typical workout, learn about the equipment, and get to ask questions to the players and coaches.
Because football is played by mostly males, and a lot of women never played the game, but a lot of women are fans, and this is an opportunity for us to include them on a night where it's just women.
More than 80 women showed up to learn more about football and practice some moves.
I learned about the fullback. I didn't know there was a fullback. He's behind the quarterback, taking over, checking it out.
Groth says he sees how the clinic can be considered sexist, but says it's meant to give back.
Women Coyote fans are buying season tickets. They are just as much included in our fan base as men are, and this is an opportunity for us to kind of give back to them.
With the spring game on Saturday, the clinic was a peek behind the scenes for family members.
My mom is here, my aunt is here, my fiance is a part of it, our coaches' wives are a part of it, and we want to include our families in this. Our families are a big part of what we do here.
For Coyote News, I'm Braley Dotson.
In this week's Bauer Beat, Sean shares his experience after attending a Stanley Cup playoff game.
On Monday, I made the 4-hour journey from Vermilion all the way to St. Paul to attend Game 3 of the Stanley Cup quarterfinal matchup between my Minnesota Wild and the St. Louis Blues. Fortunately, the Wild were able to win the game, so I was quite thrilled, but no matter what the result could have been, attending a Stanley Cup playoff game was enough for me to consider the trip worth it. If you're a sports nut like myself, you may have a sports bucket list where you have stadiums you want to attend or an event like the Super Bowl you want to go to. If it's not on your bucket list, I suggest adding a Stanley Cup playoff game to that list. There isn't a better environment in professional sports than the playoff hockey game. The passion in the fans and the players is something unmatched by any other sport. When a goal is scored by the home team, you can't hear yourself think it's so loud. Anytime the home team scores, the crowd's reaction is the same. Imagine how loud the crowd at an NBA playoff game is when a buzzer beater's hit, and that's what you get for every goal the home team scores at a playoff game. And what other sport do you see star players sacrificing their bodies to help their team win as you do in hockey? You won't see an NHL player leave a game because of cramps, talking to you, LeBron. Instead, a player will take a puck to the face, have the trainer stitch him up quick, and he's back on the ice without missing a shift. That can't be beat. So if you're into sports and you enjoy watching them play it at their best, I suggest adding a Stanley Cup playoff game to the list. And that's the Bauer Beat.